minute, but there he is actually. Perfect timing.
Starting the live stream.
Starting the live stream? Okay, great.
Yeah.
We're live.
We're live? Right, we're live. So first up, we'll just stand for the opening karakia and then we will get started with the meeting. Whakataka te hau ki te whakataka te hau ki te tonga, kia mā kina kia tuta, kia mā taratara ki tai, e hiaki ana te atakura he te oe he huka he hau hunga, te he auriora. Right, good afternoon, everybody. It opens the meeting at 4:36 p.m. on this day, Monday, the 10th of February, our first meeting for the year. So welcome back, everyone. First up, we have apologies. So today we have an apology from Linda, Nicola, and Bridget. And on Zoom, just for everybody's awareness, we have Sam and Suresh on Zoom with the rest of the team present in the boardroom.
Let's move to second day.
Can I have a mover for that, please? David and Aaron. All in favour? Against? Carried. Moving on to item number 2 on the agenda, declarations of interest. No declarations of interest have been noted, but if there are any that come up during the meeting, could please just raise those at the time and step back from the table. Item number 3, a confirmation of the previous minutes. David, happy to move. Aaron, happy to second.
Do you have the public excluded ones in there as well?
Is that as a second motion, or would that
Just included?
Just yeah, so that includes the public excluded minutes. All in favour? Against? Carried. So that moves us on to item number 4 of the agenda, being our public forums for the day. And first up, we have Kiko. Come up to the front and take a seat.
Thank you. I sent out a slide.
Yes, I think we have those.
First time, should I stand or sit?
No, you can take a seat, yeah.
Take your pick. Sit if you're comfortable, stand if you can.
Oh, okay, I'm joking around here.
Yeah. So just to confirm this, we've got 5 minutes, including time for questions, and we don't have any decision-making powers as a result of this, but we can go away and ask staff to follow up on something.
Cool.
All yours.
So I start?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Kiko tuki noa. Good afternoon, councillors and members and everyone else. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about could we find some way to funding a ping pong table in this community. And ping pong is, should I click or, okay, like there, anywhere. Ping pong is also known as table tennis, so I will use 2 terms alternatively in my presentation. And why do I want to do this? First, I would like to explain the reasons about my initiation. I study cultural constraint, outdoor recreation. My research targets is mainly about Chinese community. I know how hard for Chinese community, recreationists and other ethnic community to fully enjoy outdoor recreation when they don't have a local as a hobby. Also, I'm quite an advocacy of the recreation right of the ethnic community. I feel the responsibility and urge to speak up when I sense something wrong. So what triggered the specific topic, which is about my story? Let me tell you a story about someone, which is me, who doesn't have a local as hobby. I play badminton, a hobby I carried from home in Christchurch. The council-owned options for badminton are limited to either the Graham Gordon or the Pioneer Stadium. Currently, one of them is under maintenance during the holiday, of course, until March, while the other is scheduled to reopen in the mid-February, about time. This leaves me with a tough choice: either stop playing badminton altogether or pay higher fees to hire courts from non-council-owned providers. If you can click, there's a map And the blue shuttle icon means the council-owned recreation center that provides badminton courts. And the purple shuttle icons means the clubs and the commercial, sometimes commercial ones, to provide the badminton courts. It is a slightly higher, and also I need to pay for the extra transport fee or all the time en route, everything. So frankly speaking, I would love to know on what ground the council-owned recreation center decided to close both badminton venues for such a long period. Our migrants have already experienced tremendous adapting pressure on a daily basis. It would be much appreciated if we could hold on to something that we are familiar with for our pastime. But however, I know indoor stadium could be a luxury facility to have. So I'm thinking we should start with something that is more budget and less complicated. So ping pong, but why ping pong? It's popular, it can play outside, it's cheap, and it's easy to learn. Thank you. So table tennis is the easiest option. Reason one, promotes cultural and social integration. Reason two, ping pong is a grassroots recreation activity. And three, break the cultural stereotype. I'll elaborate them a little bit. Many of you see my face, you will say, of course, you're Chinese. Of course, you want to promote ping pong. No, actually, this is from the Wikipedia. This is the medal winner from the first ping pong World Cup men's single. As you can see, it's Hungary from 1920-ish. And the national flag of Chinese only appeared in 1959, which is 30 years after the first competition. And also the second image is about the member of Canterbury table tennis club. As you can see, it's quite diverse. Yeah, one of the 7 people looks like an Asian to me. So also, if I try to persuade you with like how many people like ping pong and how many people in our community play ping pong. But as you may know, sports like ping pong or badminton usually categorized as the other. So I just use this data to show the cultural diversity in our community as an island electorate. It's not very accurate for my topic, but still, I just want to show you. So second, the most important reason in this time, it is cheap. The ping pong racket is like $10 for 2. And the ping pong table, it's kind of expensive. It's like roughly 4,000. And also we can find someone who really good at design park, maybe some really people want to do some charity, contributions and everything. So this is the second reason. And the third one is also the reason I do this research. There is a stereotype say that migrants, especially Asian group, are less active. It's not true. There are 4 reasons based on a scholar from Canadian who study the Asian migrants in Canada. I don't read this through, but basically it's saying they are less active because they couldn't sustain their old hobbies. And from my research, I found out that some of the activity they do are not recognized as recreation activities by the host society. So that's the reason. I do want to help with this stereotype, to decrease the stereotype. Okay, the last one, the ultimate question. Why can't migrants learn something new? Please, trust me, we are learning something new every day. So yeah, we know how to show respect and try to make sure we don't get sent back to a place we're supposed to be. I don't want to educate someone with big ideas or theories. I just want to show the final slides. It is a report from the Sport New Zealand. The value of play, active recreation and sport for local government. It addresses the cultural well-being of play. Participating in playing active recreation and sport can strengthen feelings and identity and cultural and feelings of belongings with and across cultures. The last 2 points is about strengthening cultural ties from participation in play, active recreation and sport. Increased well-being from participating in cultural relevant physical activities. It's just like that. As I just mentioned, we just want to hold something for our pastime that we are really familiar with. Thank you. Did I
Thank you very much. Any questions from anyone on that one? Aaron?
Quickly, on your locations. So in Bishopdale, is Bishopdale Park better or down by the library better?
Thank you for that question. That's a really good question. You notice that because we still need to consider the wind issues by the library. Absolutely.
So we've got the wee green there. That'll go perfect.
If there will be a wall or a fence that can block a wind a little bit, that would be
Yeah,
ideal.
there is on one side, but yeah, wind must be an issue with the balls.
Yes, I checked the weather, like the historical record of the weather. I think we have a stream like over 21 kilometers per hour. It's like less than 100 days. So I would say, yeah. Good. Thank you for that question.
I just want to say it's fantastic. I love the idea.
Thank you.
And something else I'm involved in, you've actually given me an idea to do it somewhere else. So great.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so yeah, we can't make any promises or decisions now, but what we'll do is we'll have a chat to staff and we'll see if they can have a chat to our parks team and see what we can do, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you.
Jason, may I ask a question?
Yeah, I didn't see that, Shred. Go ahead.
Sorry, nice presentation. My doubt was I have played ping pong on tables which are not outdoor. And I have played with white balls which are not really outdoor friendly. So is the proposal you are making with a different type of table, bat and ball?
Sorry, a white ball. I couldn't catch the
A
question.
different type of bat and ball for outdoor, or is it the same?
Not I'm aware of. Maybe they are different. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Charlotte.
It's the other team.
Floor is yours.
Charlotte Belfast Area Residents Association. We're here to talk about a pathway, linking pathway from Springgrove to the Northern Motorway bypass, Northern Motorway shared pathway. In general, from conversations I've had with council members so far, there's a lot of support for it. Comments like it's a no-brainer. I just wanted to officially put it on the agenda to try and see the roadblock was funding. So just want to walk you quickly through it. The first slide shows you that's the pathway that literally goes into Springgrove, and then it just cuts off once you go over a little bridge. So there was always an intent to connect Springgrove to the pathway. Next slide. This is Springgrove and what it's developing into. The yellow areas are being developed now. There's 198 sections coming on board in that particular area of Springgrove alone. There's just going to be just over 400 sections. On the other side, there's at least another 400. So in that particular area, there's 800 odd residents. And we're looking at that linking pathway just where I've put the red line thereabouts. So it goes through a park area into the Christchurch City Council Reserve and just hooks up with that path. Next. So there's no pathways for over 800 homes where I've marked in red. That's on the eastern side of Blake's Road. And of course, Radcliffe Road's being fixed. So we're very appreciative. That's going to be absolute gold for them. Next. And who this impacts, this is Grant Phillips, who lives in Springgrove. And he has an attachment to his wheelchair, which is a bicycle with an e-bike unit. And without any pathways, he's still getting out and about to exercise. He's a tetraplegic. He had his legs removed just because they were causing him a great deal of pain, and he has no mobility in his hands, but he can move his arms. And so it was just, he is one of the extremes about who would like to use this pathway, but when I've mooted it to the community group, there's a lot of cyclists that would use it too, and who do, but just four-wheel drive it. And if you've got that little video, I'll just give you a little example of what it looks like for him to go and utilise the track. Because look, we love the pathways the council put up, it's just amazing. So this is rather quick.
Yeah, that's like that.
But once he gets onto the pathway, he's gold. His goal is to get to the sculpture with all the spinning fancy, thank you. And his wife has a big tri-bike behind him to make sure cars get around it. Now that's where the pathway, what we want to extend it to. And back to the slide. And next. So that gives you an idea of with the funding that's already sourced to sea walkway, and in red is where they are actually already going. And that little blue circle is where we would like to put the linking strip. And it's funding approved for 3B, but I haven't found anyone tell me what that actually means on a timetable. So next, you might be able to find that out. And so this was the proposal on the left-hand side that was done by Ant from your biodiversity parks team. And to the left is yellow, but I've put a blue circle saying entry blocked, and that's off Bill Hammond Drive. And the reason it's blocked, you'll see the photograph on the right-hand side, they've got actually rope across, so cars don't get in, but you can't get bikes in there either. So that's why I'm thinking the shortest path is their red pathway, and it's estimated between 20 to 24,000 to do that wee pathway, which will ultimately connect as part of that C to whatever. Next slide, and that's just, it will just describe what it would look like. So it's just chip sealed, 2.6 metres wide crusher, and I've been assured that that is still good enough for wheelchairs and prams to use. So that would just literally quite quickly connect Spring Grove to that northern motorway, get them to Kaiapoi or the city centre quite nicely without having to go either direction. So the question really for you is 3B, what does that mean in terms of funding and on the timetabling? And secondly, can we perhaps use development contributions to speed this up and perhaps get this in a 12-monthly schedule would be ideal. I'm reluctant to apply for a fund from your discretionary fund, because I think that's really meant for other community things, whereas I think this is infrastructure. And I'd like to see infrastructure paid for by infrastructure. So that's all I had. Thank you.
Any questions from anyone? Sam?
Oh, yeah, just two things. So that's really good, Charlotte. Thanks. I just wondered whether we can have a look as a team at whether there is the ability in the annual plan coming up. So we're looking at a draft tomorrow and whether a submission might be good. Or the other one was, and again, it might be something to take away, it's just the better off funding in terms of that Harewood ward money if we're changing the priorities, because it seems like a bit of a no-brainer, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Sam, Jason and I had that discussion just before coming in the room, so he highlighted that as well.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, so we'll make some inquiries and we'll be in touch to see what we can do. Hopefully we can get it done sooner rather than later.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming out.
Thanks for putting the pothole in the video as well.
Moving on to number 5 in the agenda, deputations by appointment. So first up, we have Annette Downey. Would you like to come up and take a seat? And you'll be talking to us regarding the proposed parking restrictions on Jameel Place.
Thank you. Okay, I am Annette Downey, and I'll just read this so that I can get it all in. I'm a resident of Jamel Place, and I've lived here for over 25 years. It's a small cul-de-sac directly opposite Avonhead Primary School. At recent times, Avonhead School has added on an auditorium, extra classrooms. The school has put in some extra parking, but not nearly enough. And now teachers and some visitors park all day in our small cul-de-sac. There's always been the usual school drop-offs and pickups at 9 and 3 o'clock, but not the all-day permanent parking, which is now a problem, especially at the top end of Jamel Place. It's dangerous for children on foot and on their scooters to cross over to their school pedestrian crossing, with cars sometimes parked right up to the corner, as you can see, on yellow lines. We're asking for the yellow lines to be extended at the top of our street to improve visibility for us all, as at times leaving and entering our street is reduced to one lane. The City Council has advised us that they also want to put white ticks in our cul-de-sac to make parking clearer and to stop people parking over our driveways. To compound the situation, Avonhead School has now let out their auditorium and classrooms on a Saturday to a music school and on Sundays to a church gathering. So it's now 7 days a week parking. Last Saturday, I counted 70 cars parked locally. The school principal was approached, but states that the school can afford to put in any extra parking in their grounds. Finally, I don't think that Avonhead School is really a good neighbour to expect the local residents to be inundated with parked cars over 7 days a week, considering that they have so little on-site parks available for the extra teachers, visitors, and now music students and religious attendees on the weekends. Nortons Road and Worthy Street are only 5 minutes away, but the teachers don't go there and park. They come down in the morning, right down our street, turn around and park up on the left. So we're just asking, can the yellow lines come further down, especially on one side where there's a big sign to tell you what speed you can do. And on the other side, I think the council want to put in a small parking area for the new build on the corner, which is for a I'm not sure what it's called again. It's a what?
Hallsbury Trust.
Hallsbury Trust, yeah. There's about 10 things in there. So we wondered if it's long overdue that they don't extend those yellow lines for us. It's quite dangerous, actually,
Okay.
you know.
Well, great. Thank you very much for coming and giving the presentation. Does anyone have any questions? Sam or anyone have any questions on that, around that?
Oh,
Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
Sam and then James.
Yeah, sorry, just one, and thanks very much, and sorry I can't be there in the room because I live not far from there as well, so I know what you mean. Just in terms of the recommendations in the report, are you generally comfortable with where we've got to, though, in terms of those additional changes, or is this above and beyond those?
No, I'm happy with it, but someone else is going to speak as well, because we're one of the very few streets near schools that hasn't got down one side during school times, parking between, I don't know, what is it, 9 and 3 for 2 hours. We're right opposite that school. We're the only little cul-de-sac there. So they will bring that up as well. Apart from that, I'm happy if you extend the lines, put the white ticks in, and it's a good start.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's great. I was just making sure you're comfortable with what the staff are recommending, so that's useful. Thanks.
Yeah, okay.
James?
Cheers.
Thanks very much.
Exactly that. My
That was the same question.
can't reconcile
Okay.
with the recommendations in front of us, so it's answered perfect.
Oh, okay.
Great. Thank you very much. So the second deputation was Heather Scandra. Would you like to come up and take a seat?
Right, okay. Well, yes, I'm Heather Scandrett, and I live at number 12, Jamel Place, and I can only endorse all that Annette has said. I leave for work at 8:45 a.m. and there's cars on either side of Jamel Place. It's very difficult if a car is coming the other way. One car has to give way. It's a very dangerous situation when children are going to school because a lot of the time just can't see.
Okay. Thank you very much. One quick question from me for you. You can answer it from there. It doesn't matter. So in terms of the staff recommendation we have, where we're extending the yellow lines at the entrance, and then have the it looks like there's a couple of 30-minute parking bays, and then the white lines. I guess does that go most of the way to supporting some changes you think would be beneficial? And if we had the ability to put, say, that whole no parking between, say, school hours for longer than 2 hours on one side as an additional element, that would be...
That would be very helpful.
Okay.
Extremely
Like
so.
what you've got available in Kirkwood Avenue, where it's got my husband talked shortly, it shows, school days, yeah.
Okay, cool. Oh, thank you very much, Heather. If you'd like to take a seat, then David and Lisa, you can come up and...
The proposals that have been made are good. The commercial property on the corner, you're allowing a 30-minute parking there, which to me is not desirable in my view, because they, in their resource consent, have a gated area where they can back off the street and load their disabled people safely. The yellow lines need to go the same on Avonhead Road as they do down to the dairy. They need to go further around and get rid of that car park just before the entrance and exit on Avonhead Road from Hawkesbury Trust, because that is a real blind spot when you're pulling out. You can't, that car actually blocks you from seeing right down. So just go a little bit further down. And I just don't understand why we in our street, when every other area, school, university in our area have these up, yet our street doesn't. And even if it's just down one side, the problem with number 8 Jamel Place is Denley Gardens is offset. We get cars parked either side of our driveway and directly opposite. And I can't get out of my driveway with a caravan or my trailer on the back without clipping a car. And when I'm coming into the street, you try and avoid it at peak times, and I'm talking 7 days a week, and you've got a trailer, you come back from the dump, you can't get in the street because they're right on the yellow lines, not just on the corner, either side. Now, you did put a camera up at one of the schools, I think it's St Martin's or somewhere like that, 52 tickets in one day. Now, I went down on Friday last, and I could have quite easily given 20 tickets in half an hour there, and that's excluding the non-registered and warranted vehicles that are parked in the street at long periods of time. And Hawkesbury Trust have, in the weekends, anything up to 8 or 9 cars parked down that end, right up on the corner. And then you got what's the outfit, the music? Full of music, as they've already been pointed out, and church on Sundays.
Saturday, and then you have the church on Sunday, so we get no reprieve at all from our street is continually congested and dangerous.
I'll leave that one there for you. That's
if you just want to slide around to James and we can...
That's Village Road is also a cul-de-sac, and it's got it down one side. Okay. You probably talk to your parking people. I'm ringing up quite a bit. I'm very concerned that on the corner there with the yellow lines, the parents and the teachers.
What's so upsetting is the parents that are parking on these yellow lines. You talk to them and they just go,
and it's the same ones.
If I move on, someone else will park here. There's no respect to the safety in that cul-de-sac.
The school management, traffic management plan is a total waste of time, because the board of trustees there need to confer with you guys probably daily. They just haven't got the resources and that to do that. The Mountaineer misses, the other day I was standing there watching, kids on bikes went through the crossing with the barriers up with children still on the crossing. Cars are actually muscling up right up to the barriers on the crossing. And on the weekends, my wife and I have nearly been killed there 3 or 4 times on the crossing and cars going over the crossing while we were on it, walking our dog. Now, that's the other thing, the crossing needs to be raised like you've done with all the others to make them slow down. It's good they got the sign there, but people, you know, it's becoming a real hazard down there. And now we're sort of bringing it to your attention. We don't want to have to go to the paper like what other schools said that, oh, the council, been to the council, now kids been run over. This has got worse in the last 5 years down there, and I think your traffic people say the same thing. The other thing too is they've got a 3-minute parking on the other side. Unless you're enforcing it, it's a total bloody waste of time. Because they sit there for half an hour, 15 minutes, and it's a 3-minute park. Now, if the teachers weren't parking on the end of our street all day, and especially when the kids are being picked up and dropped off, the parents can actually go in and out regularly and keep that corner clear, and they won't have to park on the yellow lines, you know what I mean? But if you're going to extend the yellow lines down, it's great if you're going to enforce it. Otherwise, it's going to park on there. Like they park over my driveway every week. I'm not well. My wife is recovering from cancer, and we needed to get entrance and exit, and I rung up several times, and on the weekend, we can't get any help because you've not got no one to help us. And if you take the law in your own hands, you're in trouble. But anyway, enough of that.
Before you go, I might have a couple of questions for you. David, do you want to start?
Look, I feel for you in the situation you're in. It's certainly not desirable. So thank you for coming along and sharing.
Thank you for listening.
You're obviously, you know, you talk about this car, do you see the enforcement officers there? Obviously,
I've rung them, they've come down when they can, but we're not the only school, you know what I mean? And they say that, and you've only got a limited number of them. And I was just saying the other day, and I'm thinking about honorary fishing ranges and that, and I'm just thinking, oh, hang on a minute. I could quite easily give 30 tickets in the morning and 30 tickets in the afternoon. Why doesn't the council just employ people on a pro bono just to do an hour a day at each school, morning and afternoon, and more than pay their wages, because the tickets are $100 now, right? And you'd easily dish out $1,000 worth of tickets at our school any day of the week, and even on the weekends. And that's not including the non-registered and warranted vehicles that are parked there.
We do need to find some more money, so.
I don't want to be a revenue grab, but hey, you have trouble paying wages, I know, but why can't it be self-funding?
Other questions? Was there anything from you, Aaron or James? One from me. If we,
When you're done, but
I'll go and then James. If we were to try and that whole 2-hour parking during school days on a particular side, would there be a side, I guess, from the picture that we're looking at, would it be a north side or the south side?
Say the north side would probably.
North side would be preferable to have that.
There's more private residences on the other side. On the north side, there's a lot of rentals, and you allowed that commercial operation on the corner, and they don't need any extra parking. They've got at least 5 car parks off-site that they can use.
Okay. Great. Oh, well, thank you very much. What we'll do is when it comes up to that agenda item, we will ask some of the staff these questions and see what we can do.
Appreciate whatever you can do. Thank you very much.
Right, moving on to item 6 on the agenda, presentation of petitions. There were no petitions presented, so we can move on to item 7, which is the first item in staff reports. So Jamil Place proposed parking restrictions. Who is speaking to that? Ben, is that?
Yeah. Hi there.
Hello.
Yeah, my name's Ben Zmievsky. I'm the Senior Transport Engineer for Christchurch City Council and Traffic Operations Team. And I'm presenting this report on behalf of Gautam Prabharam, who is my colleague, and he's not here today. To summarise the report, I guess, yeah, we've been through several rounds of consultation. We've received a letter from the residents to increase the extent of no stopping restrictions to help alleviate some of these safety concerns around pedestrians and cars blocking sight lines at the intersection.
just flagging.
Yeah, so vehicles are parking close to the intersection, causing safety issues, and this is amplified during the busy pickup drop-off times at school, but also, as the residents have mentioned, over the full course of the week now, as the school leases out other time periods. Yeah, we're hoping that these no stopping restrictions, as well as the white parking ticks, help alleviate some of these issues. We've put in a P30 space next to the Hawkesbury Community Living Trust, so hopefully they can have enough time to drop people off at the trust and back onto this, get into the car. But other than that, that's hoping to resolve most of the issues there.
Okay, great. James?
Yeah, just following on from that, so great report, but really good presentation. You heard the deputations from the residents there. To me, it seems that given that the parking problems have been exacerbated by the school, there seems to be merit in potentially the one side of the street having the parking restriction around the school hours. Do you have a staff position on that? Would you be adverse to it, or was there any reason why that wasn't proposed?
Do have to say that I've only been involved from quite late in the process. We can definitely look into that. Galton might have already investigated that or discarded that option for some reason. Once he's back, I can follow up and see if that's a potential option. If all the other streets in the area have time parking restrictions, there's definitely.
We've seen it, just if I may, Mr. Chair. And it's not our first rodeo in terms of parking restrictions as a board. And often it is exacerbated by educational institutions, which is no different here. And we've kind of had a bit of a precedence for implementing the restrictions on the school days, and it works well. So I was just keen to get your suggestion from a staff perspective on whether that could be incorporated into it. So we want to keep this moving along, don't want to hold it up for that. I guess that's a question for our board, but there's nothing that stands out to you on any reason why that couldn't.
No, it's definitely a feasible option. If all the other surrounding streets have already got that as a treatment, then to help probably alleviate those issues in the past, and there's no reason why we couldn't.
So it seems sensible to me, but
yes, I'll take that on the side.
Cool. Are there any other questions for Ben from either of you? One from me. Now, we were looking at, there's a blind spot created by the car park on Avonhead Road in the top left-hand corner. Is there anything that could be done to mitigate that, where say the yellow line could be extended slightly further? Are there any parameters around how far yellow lines can extend around a corner like that in terms of visibility?
Generally, the yellow lines or no stopping restrictions extend as far as if there's a safety or an accessibility concern.
Yep.
So technically, you're not allowed to park within 6 meters of an intersection. That's the law. And we as council install yellow lines when we think that there's safety issues because of parking close to intersections that are further than that. The residents also mentioned that there's safety issues with the zebra crossing, and I guess that whole area is quite busy, that intersection. So there is potential to look at this more holistically rather than just parking restrictions on Jamal Place.
Yep.
I guess, however, there is potentially funding issues when we start to think about more holistic treatments, including curb build outs, raised platforms at the zebra crossing.
Crossing exacerbates the whole situation because it's so close to the corners as well.
Okay.
So you need the yellow lines to go a bit further down to get a bit more view for everybody, I think.
Okay, thank you. Okay, great. Any other questions for anyone there? I think we've Sam, Suresh, anything from you online on that one?
No,
but probably just along the same lines as James. If we're going to move this forward, maybe we ask for something back. I think like we did around St Andrew Square.
Okay. James, do you remember how we proceeded with it? So was that a case of leaving it on the table, or did we make the changes and then we approved and then asked for advice on the additions?
Would you have a suggestion that this will just?
So we can do this,
I think, we've got a good set of recommendations that we don't want to hold up. So, my feeling was, but, obviously keen to get staff advice would be to, approve this, but then also perhaps, and then we'd request that it be, considered feasible to implement the school time limit on the northern side of the street, and then maybe a second recommendation to ask staff to investigate traffic issues around Avonhead Road, because they're really good points.
Yep.
But I don't want to confuse the issues because we've got paper in front of us, which is good, really good. And you don't want to hold it down.
No.
So to me, that seems like a sensible way to go if we just request staff to do some work around the really valid issues that were raised with Avonhead Road as well. But then you don't want to hold this up as a result.
Okay.
Would that work okay for you? And as long as it
Absolutely.
finds favour with the board and staff, then I think that could be the way to go.
Good. Does anyone on the board have any kind of adverse reaction to that recommendation from James? Silence?
No.
Okay.
That's good enough for me. So I wonder if we just add to that, so to the staff recommendations, the preferred option that we and Aidan, you can help with the wordsmithing of this. There's probably two things. One is that we would we request that staff implement or we can word it, but essentially the time limited parking around the school hours for the northern side of Jamel Place.
Yep. Yep.
And then a further recommendation that we or the board request staff to further investigate traffic issues in the vicinity on Avonhead Road.
Yeah, of the pedestrian crossing and what do you say? A holistic view or of traffic safety around the pedestrian crossing and site obstruction.
Yeah, or and visibility when
and or visibility of exits from exiting from the
And what that really means is
I just said too, there's no traffic lights on Withels Road. And everybody's coming onto Avonhead Road now because of the lights at the Oldhurst. And at school time, it's backed up from there right down to Parkstone, and that also causes a big issue there. And of course, then you get the parents doing U-turns.
On the crossing.
Yeah, and there's a jam up because there's no light, and this is probably, you don't want to hear that, but the Oldhurst Road and Withels Road is creating another issue for Avonhead Road as well.
Yeah,
Volume of traffic.
that would be a bigger change.
I just like when you go there and look at school time, go, we've got this problem.
Yeah.
Why are the lights causing a problem?
Right, just we'll just have to stop it there. We're not actually supposed to get any kind of from the floor anymore. So
two visibility issues when exiting Jamil Place or something like that, just so it's really quite clear what it relates to.
Just during school.
Which basically means it's that car park on the northern side.
That could be in the report.
Yeah.
Yes, can we just get some advice on 7, because we've obviously got
It's not just.
And it's not just school hours, James, either, is it? 'Cause, the Saturday and Sunday with the church and so the school music school stuff too. But school hours would have to be, should we put school hours and what other options there are around?
Could just be 9 to 3.
9 to 3, 7 days a week or something like that?
Well, what about request advice on installing P1 parking restrictions on the north side of Jamil Place?
Just leave it like that.
Because that could encompass the store ones, but staff would be better placed, having gone through consultation and everything like that, to understand what is going to get us the best result.
Yep.
So if the better result's going to come from a blanket P120, then maybe that's a better way to go.
Yeah, but that would technically make overnight parking illegal.
Yeah, but they stop work at 6 o'clock, so.
Right.
Do we think
neighbours or?
No, the point is you want to give tools in the toolkit for enforcement.
That becomes a problem now.
Do we want
They're not going to
start
enforce it.
investigate across 7 days? Because they might just think that we're thinking 5.
Yeah, can we put something around the 7 days in there just so that they're aware, because of the
parking restrictions across 7 days? Or 7 days a week, or whatever you're looking for.
Yeah, that should be enough to go off. And then the second part, okay, great. Everyone.
Just a question on that, Jason.
Yep.
In 7, we've got the board already supports this option. Then when staff look at it in detail, can they just carry on, or does it have to come back again?
It'd have to come back because it has to be legally enforceable.
Right.
So we'd have to show that it's been properly.
Yeah, but it's not
Please cross.
lose the good stuff
No.
now.
Okay.
We can add to it.
Okay, great. Everyone happy with that?
Happy to move or is it local, actually a local?
Okay, yeah, I'm assuming we don't need to have any debate on that one. We've essentially done that already.
Sanders.
Sam,
second.
okay.
Sam and Trish.
Sam and Trish are happy to move and second that one?
Yeah.
All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you very much, Ben, for item 7. No, you don't have to hang, we're done with that one now, so do you feel free to leave, you don't have to hang around. Well, thank you for taking the time to come in.
Thank you.
Item 8, proposed road name change at 155 Sticks Mill Road, Sean Ward. Have we got a Sean online perhaps? We haven't, it's a, take it as read. No one's particularly concerned about that one, and we've got David's happy to move and Aaron's happy to second. All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Fantastic. Item 9, 52 West Home Street, easement of the reserve, Barry Woodland. Barry, thank you for joining us.
So this paper report just deals with requesting the board's approval to grant an easement over part of the reserve at 52 West Home Street. That access across to the gates which go into the back of the school have been there for some time prior to when we took over the control and management of the reserve. So the school or the MOE are looking to formalise that agreement. Our parks team, who've obviously taken over management of the reserve, are quite happy with that arrangement, but we have used the opportunity to try and get a reciprocal easement over the walkway that goes out to the railway line. That's across school land at the moment, or MOE land. So, yeah, we just wanted to get a formal easement to protect that right away.
Very happy to move that.
All right. Very happy to second. James, happy to move. David, happy to second. All in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in. Just that moves us on to item 10, BRF. Karen.
As you can see, the village are actually applying on behalf of the Brindle Community Transformation Trust, the Burnside Brindle Community Network, which is an informal group. So they're just doing this as kind of a stopgap until they formalise. But as you can read, it's for support to fund kind of like a year's worth of the Brindle Banter. So that'd be the next 3 editions, because they piloted it for a year, but they're struggling to get sponsorship. So, yeah.
Okay.
Got any questions?
Any questions from anyone on that one?
Do we pay it one lump sum or do we drip feed it?
One, yeah.
Okay. No other questions? Anyone, someone happy to move?
Yep.
James, happy to move? Second. David, happy to second? All in favour?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thanks, Karen. Item number 11, the Waimāero Fendalton-Waimairi-Harewood Community Board Area Report for February 2025. Marianne.
Thank you. I'm happy to take the report as read and just highlight a couple of things. The Avonhead Trustee already getting some really good feedback from residents about it. People, I think Karen has said that they've lived in the area for over 25 years and didn't know a lot of the activities that were available just around from where they are. And the sunshades at Nepal Reserve look amazing, and again getting really good feedback from local residents. And there's a story in there that Richard Rendell from the Men's Shed has written about their 10th anniversary, which a few of us went along to. It's just amazing for me as someone that was involved. It was just initially 6 of them meeting in the garage down at Sunby House on Farrington Ave, and they've now got over 150 members, and they're having to spread out the days so that everyone can fit, and it's just absolutely amazing. And I do, if you haven't been down to their premises, down to the shed on Kendall Ave, I really, really recommend it. 3 o'clock's a good time to go because the wives all send their baking with the husbands, so they stop then and have a cup of tea, so that is a good time to go. Yeah, and then the end of year, I just want to thank the staff for putting on another lovely end of year thank you for our community representatives. Again, good feedback about the breakfast spread. So it's really great to see everyone have some time out together just to catch up and reflect on the year. So yeah, happy to take any questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer on the Christmas function.
Does that mean you're going to be at Debbie Downer when you
Yeah, I
take
am,
it first?
because it was breakfast time, we didn't have any of Natalie's desserts that she normally brings when it's later in the day, which are quite legendary. So that's all.
Because there's nothing wrong with a good dessert at breakfast.
She should still bring the dessert. Forget the time clock, that's all.
Pass that feedback on.
No one else is disagreeing, are they?
Right, recommendation.
Yeah, and then everyone can just doggy bag a dessert for a bit later in the day.
Okay, great. Well, I'm happy to move the board area report. Can I have a seconder for that, please? Aaron, thank you very much. All in favour?
Just to,
Sure, James.
just a really quick question. It's just in terms of reporting. I think this is fantastic information for us, and I love it. I just wondered if, in terms of the ticket reporting, if there was any possibility, we could see some of the historic stuff compared to it, as long as it's easy enough to incorporate in it. But I imagine that you've got prior couple of months one, just so we can see in terms of a graphic, how that's tracking, because, there are things that are quite high. Like obviously the wheelie bins are always pretty high, but if there's a spike, it kind of stands out more. Is that something that is possible?
So I got them to add in the previous month, so you can see that.
Yes.
You'd like more than one?
I just wondered, only if it's practical. It's just that I just find so often for us, it's like the trends are really what matters. Like a snapshot in time is great, and I don't want to request something if it's unworkable or not helpful, but just give some thought to if it is possible to see the last couple of months.
Or even, what about an annual trend?
Yeah.
Because then you've got the seasonal cycle.
Yeah.
Or even see it every now and then we could see the annual version.
Yeah, so I don't want to jump to exactly what that should look like, because it needs to, be work for you and everything like that. But I just wanted to flag, at least keep in your mind that being able to see those trends, that it's tracking downwards or it's tracking up. Interesting to see where it was from last month, but it's more about where the line is heading as opposed to where the dot is.
Particularly with graffiti around school holidays, is that why there's a
totally? It's just. Yeah, sorry, I won't keep going on about it, but it's just very quickly, it's one of those ones that I continually sort of ask myself the same thing, where I think, I wonder sort of how that is in relation to, where the trend's been for the last few months, or the last 6 months. And if it's too hard, don't worry about it, but if it's possible, it'd be cool. Thanks. I'll shut up now.
That's right. So Oz moving, Aaron was seconding. All in favour on that one?
Right.
Against? Carried. Fantastic, Marianne. Thank you. And that moves us on to the last item on the agenda, which is the elected members information exchange. Does anyone have anything to share over the Christmas period or over January that's come up? Aaron?
I'll start with one. It was good having Charlotte in with the one today about the path. I think that's a bit of like everyone says, a no-brainer, especially if Anthony's delivering it, because it's only 20 odd K. Spring Grove residents have raised again Radcliffe Road, and we're keeping it. There's no path, and the date keeps getting pushed out year after year because we moved it ahead in the annual plan, long-term plan, like 3 years ago. So it should have been delivered, and it's a Kiwi Rail hold-up. So, and of course we're having problems across the rest of the city of Kiwi Rail. So, but I just don't know the way forward. Like, how do we raise this as a board? Do we send a letter to someone?
I think we are actually making progress, aren't we? I thought the last time we heard was that it was actually being prioritised with Kiwi Rail, but we don't have a firm date, but it was like essentially things are happening. And they were gonna, I can't remember what, we had a staff update a couple of months ago before Christmas.
When they came to that briefing, they spoke about it.
Yeah, about how they'd actually had, essentially Kiwi Rail told them that it was going to be a priority. And
you're right, we can ask for
we can get a memo.
Yeah, if we can just get an update, especially with the start of the new year, heading into
with the time
campaign season, all that this year, it'd be good to have a clear view on where that's
now with the public fights with Kiwi Rail over other parts. So they might have gone, no, actually.
Yeah, it'd be good to get a firm update on whether that commitment or something.
Yeah, that would be really good because I met with Charlotte. She ran through a number of issues for the area, and another one that I sent through to Aidan, just so everyone's aware. She's interested in us getting naming rights for the Belfast Port.
Yes, she mentioned that.
And she thinks that potentially we can get all the upgrades that we've suggested, light heating and other bits and pieces by paying for it through the naming rights, like it would become the Fowler Homes Pool or whoever, Homes Pool, whoever But I quite like that option. It doesn't cost us money and you end up with a better facility. So
I
do
think
we,
Natalie's looking.
so Natalie's running with that one? Cool.
Yeah, just very quickly, two things. The obvious one that on Wednesday, council's considering the draft annual plan. So as always, just urge board members to try and circulate that, amongst the various networks and everything, because we want feedback, want submissions on that. And the second one, and it just reminded me with the parking one, that more over the last couple of months, I've been contacted increasingly, so it's probably because I live near there, but more so than normal, around the parking issues from St Andrews. And I've had multiple residents even in the last couple of weeks contact me around that. They've found that parking from St Andrews, both parents and staff, just appears to be getting a lot worse, particularly more down the St Andrews end with people over driveways and everything like that. And I urged the last resident I talked to, I said, well, look, you can come along to the board, perhaps, and urged to make a public presentation. So just flagging that it seems to be an issue that's bubbling away, and parking around there seems to be getting worse. For what reason, I'm not sure, whether it's an increased role, whether more events, I don't know. But it's just something that I've noticed. So a lot of residents down the Papanui Road end of Norman's Road are having a lot of issues with St Andrews. And where I thought that could go from here in terms of an action might be just in light of today's item, and also the residents that have been getting in touch with me around that. I wonder if we could put on our agenda or something next time we're meeting with school principals, both for St Andrews and Avonhead, just those issues that we're seeing crop up around parking.
Yeah, sounds good. Sam, Suresh, anything from you from updates?
No, nothing from me this time.
Mine, I think Marianne covered mine, which I've had really good feedback on the Avonhead community directory as well. So thanks to the team for that. And then Nepal Reserve as well, massive feedback. So yeah, they were covered in the last one. So all good.
Yeah, and I think the importance of having the print version was very well received.
Okay.
Sam, can you still hear us? Sam? Oh, you can. Andre and Jake got upset the other day about the directory because I told them you had 4 full pages in there.
You're on live stream as well, Aaron.
Oh, right. Yeah, I said you had 4 full pages in there. And I'm like, what? How did it get there? I was just winding them up.
An update for me too is just for anyone that wasn't aware, our deputy chair had a baby over the break within the week. So there's a healthy baby boy named Cooper has entered the world. So Bridget's off looking after him at the moment. So it's fantastic.
Probably actually watching Bridget.
Probably is. Yeah. So yeah, just wanted to give that wee update. And then with that, we come to the end of the agenda for the afternoon. So we will stand for the closing karakia and finish the meeting.
Uluhia que te uru Tapunui, Kia Kia Mama, Kau, Takata, Koira, Pakaria, Akiriunga, Tina,
Thank you very much, everyone. And with that, we will close the meeting at 5:33 p.m.
Nice. Thank you very much.